Good morning, St. Francis. It is Tuesday, June the 8th, 2021, Tuesday of the 10th week of the year. Coming to you this morning from the Memorial Garden, where if you have not been here yet for morning mass, at times, morning mass, it is set up for morning mass. So we have morning mass outside. One of the blessings that kind of, I guess, came from this pandemic and everything else that it offered us was the ability to recognize the fact that outdoor liturgy is sometimes very nice. And so we have it all set up to be able to celebrate that way. The problem is that we should not do that today because it is like soup outside. It also looks like it's going to rain a little bit, and there's one of our planes going into RDU. And so you'll be inside today for morning prayer. Let's see. This Tuesday of the 10th week of the year, we are hearing from the second letter of Paul to the Corinthians. We hear from the first letter a little bit later on, so they're out of order. But the second letter of Paul to the Corinthians in our first reading, second letter to the Corinthians always is held up as being one of the best ways in which Paul, or one of the best letters through which Paul expresses his theology of who Christ is, as well as what is our responsibility as believers in this world. And he speaks about Eucharist, he speaks about relationships with each other, and then he speaks about Christ and what it means for Christ to be risen from the dead, and again, proving to the Corinthians again and again that this is not some fantasy, that this is a reality and a truth that they are invited to believe in and to embrace in their own lives. In that same way of being witnesses and what it means to be witnesses in the world, again, we continue with Mark's Gospel, where Jesus speaks to his listeners that they are salt and light in this world, the salt of the earth and the light of the world, the light for the world. And that we cannot keep these realities, these truths hidden from the world. They must be expressed in as many ways as we can, in many different actions, in as many different situations, opportunities as we can find. What that says, again, it's not just basically, those who are listening to Jesus, who he says are salt and light. It is all humanity is meant to be that, because all humanity is filled with the Spirit of God, whether or not it recognizes it, whether or not it wants to admit it. It is filled with the Spirit of God because it has been created by God, created in that image and likeness of God. And to be salt and light in this world basically means that we not just give the world flavor, but that hopefully because of our faith and what we believe, because of this God who lives and moves through us, we can offer clarity and understanding that no other human endeavor, no other human philosophy, no other human occupation can ever hope to provide. That is what salt and light means for this world. But even for us today, it means something even more powerful, and it carries with it a great responsibility. Because the truth is that people will come to faith, will come to know Jesus, will come to know what it means to be a believer in this world, or not, depending upon our actions, depending on how we demonstrate, through however we respond to the world's issues, to its problems, to its situations, to respond with a faith that trusts in God, as incredible as that might seem, as impossible as that might seem, as outrageous and outlandish as that might seem. That trust in God through everything that we experience as human beings becomes the greatest witness in this world of what it means to believe in a God who cares about us, who loves us, and who journeys with us through the ups and downs of life. To be salt and light in this world means that we must take up that responsibility to be the vehicle, the principal vehicle, the main vehicle through which people come to an understanding of who and what God is, and how wonderful it can be to have a relationship with God. There are no longer bolts out of the blue. There are no longer lightning bolts that strike us. There's no longer visions. There's no longer any other kind of thing that God has done in the past. God now relies upon us to be salt and light in this world. A responsibility that cannot be taken lightly, a responsibility that must be embraced with all that we are. That's a responsibility that can bring hope and life to this world. May the Lord give you peace.